Welcome back to Soaring into Sports, the only official UNW Athletics podcast, back with another episode. I'm your co-host, Owen Dumonso, as always, with Jess Poppin, and we're excited as a big milestone was hit in basketball today. Spring sports are starting, but Jess, how are you doing today?
Doing great, yeah. Coming off of a great week of men's basketball. Excited to talk about that. We've got some indoor track and field off and running, literally, here this past week. So, yeah, a lot to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're getting right into it here with women's basketball, who had two home games this week, playing Martin Luther and Morris, losing in both of them. Martin Luther 71-47 result in a deceiving score of 82-65 against Morris, where the women's basketball team was in it for most of that game, really single digits the whole way through until Morris kind of pulled away at the end with free throws and the rest. But good thing to look forward to for the women's basketball team as they are playing really tough basketballs recently.
Yeah, they just got kind of a tough draw with their first four games against probably the best four teams in the conference, at least so far. So yeah, they've gone through the gauntlet to start the season, and really have played pretty well for the most part. That Martin Luther game got away from them a little bit. Just a really good effort from Wilhelmina Wenz, a guard from Martin Luther, who had 20 rebounds as oftentimes the smallest player on the court, in addition to 14 points and 5 assists. So she was everywhere. We want to tip our caps to her on an unbelievable effort. And then Lydia Fight had a great game for Martin Luther there as well. And, you know, the Eagles definitely are missing Lydia Schmitter, the best player on the team, leading scorer. But I will say, Emma Kornick, who stepped into the lineup for Lydia, has done a really good job leading scorer in both games so far back in the lineup. She was their leading scorer early in the year as well when Lydia missed some time. So want to give a shout out to Emma as well for stepping up to the plate and playing some good basketball as of late. 11 points against Martin Luther, and then 15 to lead the way against Minnesota Morris. But yeah, you mentioned it with that Morris game. That one, deep into the second quarter, the Eagles had made a couple runs to make that really close.
Yes.
And Morris was kind of the runaway favorite in the conference preseason as well. So that was a game that I don't think many expected to really be much of a contest, especially with the way that Wednesday's result went with the 24-point loss and 47 points. But they were really in it for a lot of that game against Morris. Cut it to I think 5 points in the second and the third quarter before Morris was kind of able to regroup and pull away. They're just such a big, lengthy team. I mean, 4 of their 5 starters are 5'11" or bigger, with I think 3 of them over 6 feet. It's just unbelievable the amount of size and length that they have. So really tough to overcome as our team lacks a little bit of size, but really proud of their effort, especially, Morris isn't just big, but they also do a lot of full court pressing and really aggressive defense that can make it tough on some inexperienced guards. So I thought they held their own and put forth a really good effort. And yeah, excited to see what happens now that they don't have to play the best 4 teams in the conference in their next few games. They'll have to play them all again eventually. But hopefully they'll have learned kind of what they can do and what they can't do against those teams, and they'll get 2 of them at home and the other 2 on the road. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, putting in an incredible effort is exactly what we can describe men's basketball this week, as they beat Martin Luther 87-65 and beating Morris in a barn burner towards the end, 88-79. And a huge congratulations to Jay Niamari for reaching his 1,000th point against the Martin Luther Knights in that game. I know the crowd was losing it. Everyone was super happy. The team was able to celebrate him as well on Saturday with the ceremony, and really, really excited for Jay as well. But for the team aspect, 2 huge wins at home this week against conference opponents is always going to feel good for you.
Yeah, like you said, awesome to see Jay get that honor. He was 15 points away going into the game, and the last few games he hadn't hit 15 points, so you're kind of like, man, I really hope he gets it tonight. Then we can do the pregame ceremony on Saturday before they're at home. Otherwise, we'll have to wait another week for that. And he hit it so quickly in that game. It was evident right off the jump that it was going to happen in a hurry. And he did. He had plenty of time to spare in the first half by the time that he hit that mark. seemed, to my surprise a little bit, because I thought I was like one of the only few people who knew.
Yeah.
Most of the crowd was aware of when he hit it. So I saw his family was behind the bench. They were going crazy. His friends in the stands were going crazy. So it was really cool to see the support for him in that moment. And then he wasn't done there either. He went on to score 31 points in that game in what ended up being a blowout win. And that game really felt like one that kind of turned the season around for the Eagles. They went in 2-12, I believe, was their record going into that game. And obviously not out of it yet. They were 0-2 in the UMAC at that point, but you know, the league kind of looks like anyone's ball game sort of thing still. Yep. But that was a game. That's a Martin Luther team that they are probably going to be battling for a playoff spot for towards the end of the season. So that seemed like one that you need to have in your pocket at home going forward the rest of the way. And those guys came out and played great.
Yes.
Best shooting performance of the season by far. Noah Frizzell was dialed in from deep. The whole team really was just clicking, and you could feel the energy in the Erickson Center. Really did seem like a momentum-shifting win for the team. So, yeah, it was really cool to see the response from the crowd and everyone. And obviously it was good to see the ball go in the hoop a little bit more than it has in recent games. So, that one was great. Really all-around great team win. And then they turned around Saturday and play a Minnesota Morris team that was undefeated in the conference coming in and looked great again. Similar, didn't shoot quite as well, but still pretty well. Will Foster's really coming along now that he's back in the starting lineup, playing great again. I think he had 14 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists in that game, or maybe 12 points. But, played great. A.J. Green came off the bench and scored 18, just lethal from the mid-range. Seems like they found a nice little rotation mix of guys. Jonah Burnett hit back-to-back threes in the first half that about blew the roof off the place. It seems like things are really starting to click for them. And like we said, the UMAC is anyone's game right now. Everybody in the conference has at least one win. The Eagles are right in the middle at 2-2, just a half game back of Bethany and Crown and Morris. So they'll have UW Superior on Wednesday on the road. Always a tough place to play, but they're 1-2 in the conference. And then, as you mentioned, Hoops Hysteria Saturday against Crown, which suddenly might turn into a huge matchup with Crown coming in 2-1, just knocked off North Central and Bethany Lutheran, so they're playing some great ball too. So, really good to see Jay get that honor. Noah Frizzell is coming along, hitting a lot of threes, which they kind of expected and hoped he would do this year. So, it just seems like the team's really gaining some confidence, and they're starting to fire on all cylinders.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as Jess mentioned, we will have an away game for both the men's and women's on Wednesday, taking on Superior, up in Superior. But on Saturday, playing against Crown, it is Hoops Hysteria, which is a huge event for admissions and athletics, as we hopefully have some future Eagles in the building and current staff and alumni as well. So really looking forward to that Saturday as well.
Yeah, I want to encourage everyone to get out there. Obviously, it's a big admissions weekend with a lot of prospective students on campus that'll be at the game with some halftime contests to win scholarships and things like that. But also want to invite all the current students and fans. The atmosphere is going to be great. It's going to be a huge game with UMAC implications. David Peterson's back in the house, the former host of this podcast, coaching the Crown women. So come and give him a hard time if you want. But no, it should be. It's always an awesome atmosphere. Pep band's going to be there. Really fun day every year. So. Come support the Eagles. There's going to be some contests for current students as well to win some prizes. Chick-fil-A will be there, so always the opportunity to win some Chick-fil-A. We want to make sure that the Erickson's packed out and loud for that one.
Absolutely. Well, we're excited to see you on Saturday. But as we continue on with the podcast, our spring sports are in swing with track and field having their first event. Not a full team event at St. Thomas, but having a couple participants, including some notable names that have been around for a while, as Owen Vander Wright and Cody Johnson were participating, as well as Emery Mackey and a bunch of the other women's indoor track and field members.
First meet of the year at St. Thomas. Thomas, like you said, kind of a limited team. We'll talk to head coach Patrick Fitzgerald later in the podcast. He said that they'll have the full team at McAllister this weekend. But started off with just a few runners and jumpers and pole vaulters and things like that. I wanted to give a few shout-outs to some notable performances. Caitlin Schiltz, in her first meet, took 4th place in the triple jump. Cody Johnson, as a freshman, his first meet was 6th place in the long jump. Lily Hubbard took home an 8th place finish in high jump. Emery Mackey, 8th place in the mile. And then Caroline Ringsmuth with a 7th place finish in the women's 800. So some good early season performances. Pretty good fields there as well. I mean, I look at the teams participating: St. Thomas D1, Minnesota D1, St. Cloud State's D2, and then Hamlin and Augsburg there as well as Northwestern. So really good fields there. I think with not having a track here, they kind of use it as seeing where exactly they are in their events, as well as, for your jumpers, you got to figure out where your marks are and things like that. So just kind of a testing the waters sort of meet. But we mentioned it before with cross country here as well. It's always fun to see as the meets go on and the year goes on, all the times start to fall and the lengths of the jumps start to go up. So excited to see the rest of the team join them this weekend at McAllister, and we'll have a full recap next week on how that goes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the last thing we want to mention is that preseason polls came out for our tennis teams, and both are slated to finish second in the North divisions of the UMAC tennis, which we're excited to see them perform and hopefully outperform and get first upcoming. They don't have any matches soon, but those polls did come out, so we did want to cover it. So also looking forward to our tennis season as well.
Absolutely, yes. Good reminder. Tennis season starting soon. There'll be not this weekend, but the following weekend on January 31st, be competing for the first time this year. Two very different approaches to those second place nods in the preseason polls. The men return everybody from last year and bring in some good freshmen as well that I know Coach Swigert's excited about. The women bring back one player from their lineup last year and will supplement Abby Ross's time with some freshmen, and then a couple of returners that weren't in the everyday lineup. They played a little bit, but not in the usual 6-woman rotation. So it'll be interesting to see how each of those approaches work. But yeah, gotta have faith in Matt Swiger. It seems like no matter what, they always end up in the top 2 of the conference in the North Division. So yeah, those will be starting for kind of their indoor season on Saturday the 31st. And as usual, we'll have all the coverage of those and hopefully have some good news for everyone. Yeah, absolutely. Well, we thank you for watching this portion of the podcast, the review and preview. Now sit back and enjoy our interview with cross country and track and field coach Fitzgerald. We're excited to have our next guest here on the podcast, coach of the track and field teams and cross-country teams here at the University of Northwestern, Coach Fitzgerald. Coach, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. It's been a good day.
Yeah, it's good to have you on.
Well, yeah, we wanted to start, since you do coach both track and field and cross-country, just start with a little cross-country recap from the year. Obviously, a really successful season with the women winning the conference championship as well as being runners-up at NCCAA Nationals. So if you could just kind of recap cross-country quick and things you liked and some fun memories for you.
Yeah, it was a very fun season. One of the blessings this year was a little bit of growth, especially on the women's side regarding numbers. And so, like any sport, it's nice to the more full team you have, usually the more camaraderie and the more opportunities to get to know more people. So, very, very blessed. Some newcomers, also a lot of returners, and just they came together so nicely, and then it ended up being a very good season for us as far as running is concerned as well. So
nice.
It was a very big blessing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, there's a new season starting here with track and field that kind of brings new excitement into the season. What is it like kind of coaching different athletes than you had in the fall going into the spring?
Yeah, so I still am heavily focused on the middle and long distances as far as in track, but it's so fun to get to know the different personalities. Especially distance runners tend to be sometimes a little less social, we'll say, a little less is kind of a stereotype. It's not like but it's so nice to have an influx of different personalities, and so you have some personalities that are really nice to have. We have a really good freshman class that I'm excited about, both on and off the track, high character.
Yeah.
We get back one of our runners from cross that didn't run towards the end of the season. Ellie Nelson's a big addition. She's going to be something to look out for. And then on the sprint side, we have both Lydia and Elena coming in this year for have some nice marks. So looking forward to see what they can do. It's just going to be a fun season. It's nice because at practice, cross country, you have 1 or 2 workouts you're working with in the day, right? Track, you're literally, your head's on a swivel because there's people coming from all different directions and different speeds, and so it's just nice to. It brings a different type of energy, so it's been fun.
For sure.
We also got some new coaches this year, so there's been some changes there. So blessed by last year's coaching staff, and also excited for what's ahead this year, and just the different personalities that they're bringing as well. And everyone's got their style, so far I like what I see. Yeah,
for sure.
That's awesome. Well, your season started on Friday at St. Thomas with a few of your athletes going down there. Just kind of give the audience a recap of how the first meet went and what excites you about the rest of the season here.
Yeah, the first meet, it was a solid start to the season. The nice thing about the first meet is you get to see where you're at. I mean, you're coming off a long winter training. Most of those miles are done by yourself. For the jumpers as well, a lot of weight room activity. So really just get a mark, okay, where am I literally at? Not where I think I'm at with workouts. And so I like where we're at. We definitely have a lot of room to improve, and looking forward to this next phase of coaching as far as our workouts, and looking to see what we can do at McAllister this week. It's our first full team meet. And then St. John's is when I think we should be humming a little bit and looking at more realistically where we're at as a team.
Yes, absolutely. Well, you kind of addressed it earlier, where you kind of have your head on a swivel during practices, seeing all these different events, different times, and all these things. So with that, what does your coaching style kind of shift and have to adjust to with so many events in track and field during this season, where cross country it's maybe a little bit easier for you? Yeah,
that's a great question. So the biggest takeaway last year from the different events is actually learning each meet. So for example, at Hamlin they have a really good 5K, and this is my first rotation at the college level in the Metro and the races in the Metro. So now knowing which races to put athletes in at a given time, and same with jumping. So I'm very blessed by last year getting more information and more data on what events we'll be putting athletes in. So there's that aspect, and then just really being on top of the time schedule. So as a coach, I want to go see the high jump, and then I'm going over to go watch hopefully some throws, and so I have to be on it, and our athletes have to be on it as well. Once again, indoor especially, it's so fast moving. There's limited space to warm up, so there's just so much going on. So it's really just being prepared, like anything in life, being prepared. And then also part of that preparation takes place before even putting athletes in events to make sure we're putting them in a chance to do their best in PR by getting the right event for that particular meet. So, yeah.
For sure.
So you're in year 2 here, taking over as we mentioned, both cross country and track and field head coach, taking over for Steve Thiessen, who was here for over 30 years at the helm. But many people may not know he's still in the building, office downstairs. He's our game operations manager now. Has been helpful to have him still, not next door, but still in the building and there to help out and give you some advice if you need it.
Massively helpful. Me and Steve connected right away. I'm in his office quite a bit. I go to his more than he comes to mine. As far as he's downstairs, he's about to jump.
You got the younger knees and legs, so
that's right.
He gets around pretty well, though.
It's honestly been a privilege to get to know him on a personal level as well. 3 decades of coaching like anything, just like athletics, the athletes themselves, rather, you put a lot into it, and it's such a blessing to do such. But for 30 years to do it, it's so there's always stuff and wisdom and nuggets. So we definitely enjoy sitting down and talking some running, but also just to get to know each other on a personal level. So very grateful to have him in the building, and he'll even send me emails sometimes, little updates or things to look out for. So he's definitely on my back, and I really appreciated that relationship.
That's awesome. He's still really invested as well. He'll come out to my office and be like, here's the updated, time sheet, the records and everything. So he still keeps pretty good tabs, which is great.
Great point. In fact, I said, is that something you want me to take over as far as, and he goes, nope, I love it. I said, well, great, I'm going to leave that with you.
Good story.
He's been so good because literally if something's been broken, I'm talking that Monday, it's already updated. So very blessed on that level too. Yeah, he's been such for the kids too, I'll see him talk in the hallway, and some athletes he's already coached in the last few years. And what a gift to have someone that still cares cares and is invested, although he's got other duties now as well. So
Yeah.
Well, talk a little bit about your journey to Northwestern here, because it wasn't necessarily the most typical, coaching journey, working your way up through the ranks, coming directly from another college or maybe a high school. Talk a little bit about how you ended up here.
Yeah, it's a really neat story. So I coached at Cathedral High School in St. Cloud, and really my first time on campus was to watch a former athlete. I was playing volleyball at the time, and I came to the first game. I was like, this will work in my schedule. So I came up from St. Cloud, or down from St. Cloud, excuse me, and I was just so impressed by the university. From the person that took my money at the door to I was like, this place is a little different, the prayer before, it just seemed very genuine. And then I had another athlete end up playing soccer here, so same thing, coming on campus again. And I remember thinking, if there's ever opportunity, this is the kind of place I would love to coach. It's very evident that you can share your faith, grow in your faith. And everything I've done here so far, including working here, has been very impressive. Dr. Hill's been great to work for. I feel like I have a ton of just opportunities to learn and learn my craft as well. He's also been giving me the space to do things in the manner which I like to do them, so it's been such a blessing. But yeah, my journey was not direct. In fact, I was back in California before I took the job, so I lived here for 8 years and spent a year back in the San Diego area, and then when this job opened up, I was super encouraged and applied, and was very fortunate to get it. So yeah, I did not go the college route at all. I haven't done any assisting. It was one of the routes I was considering if this never opened up, and I was blessed to be able to go directly into this position. So,
yeah. God's timing all works out.
That's right. Yeah. Yes, and high school was perfect for me with that time frame in my life. It was such a blessing and a gift, and so I feel like it was preparing me for this job. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Sure. Well, we thank you for coming in, Coach. We'd like to have this last part of the segment kind of open to you if you have any last-minute comments or last-minute thoughts here before we kind of sign off here.
Yeah, I'm just very grateful to work, honestly, at Northwestern, and the athletes that I've been able to just day to day. I'm so blessed to work with people that are pursuing their faith, that are high character athletes, and have been given a great effort. So very blessed on both ends. And I think the last part, sometimes it's easy to see the success, maybe like a win, winning the conference for the women. But I was equally as impressed on the guys' side. Ranked 5th and coming in, almost got 2nd this year, and we're just off 2nd place. So just very encouraged by the work that we're putting on both sides, and also just looking forward to the present and also the future at this university. So that's what I want to share. Yeah, thank you for your time as well, by the way.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Yeah, thank you, Coach, for coming in with us. You can find all of our track and field results on the UNW Athletics website, as well as most NCAA websites as well. As always, a huge shout out to audio and visual producer Caleb Welsh for doing all the things behind the scenes, making this thing run. And as always, go Eagles.